Ed Oliver, and today we're talking about some rumors and some potential interest in Collin Sexton, and we're going to talk about some more Wizards workouts. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Wizards podcast. It's your host, the real Ed Oliver. You can follow me on Twitter at EDTOOFLATT. Just want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Check out prizepicks.com and use promo code NBA or go to your app store and download the app today. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. All right, today, so we're going to talk about some of the articles and reported or rumored interest that the Washington Wizards have in point guard or combo guard Collin Sexton. Talk about some guys that the Washington Wizards worked out today on Monday, and of course the NBA Finals just a little bit. The Warriors did beat the Celtics last night. Jordan Poole hit an incredible three-point shot. I just thought the Warriors improved defensively. They gave up a lot of wide open threes to guys like Al Horford in game one, and that really hurt them. I thought they made adjustments defensively and switched. Jordan Poole went crazy. Steph went crazy, hitting some crazy threes. Jordan Poole with that backbreaker three before the end of the third quarter, and then the game just got out of hand. The Warriors just dominated for the most part. And I still have the Warriors winning in 6. Draymond Green got a tech. He was a crucial part in the game, kind of just playing mind games with the Celtics, being physical, bringing that physicality. Now, he did get away with some push-offs and some illegal screens, but that's what Draymond Green does. He brings that intensity and physicality. Had 9 points, I want to say 7 rebounds and 5 assists. Kevon Looney playing his role well, rebounding the basketball. Otto Porter playing his role. Gary Payton II as well playing his role. I want to bring up the numbers here as well for that game. And the Wizards, not the Wizards, but the Warriors. There's a lot of former Wizards on the Warriors, such as Otto Porter and Gary Payton II. But the Warriors, everybody knows their role. They just do it well, and they just do what they're asked to do around Steph Curry. 107-88. I feel like the lead was a lot larger than that at one point. Steph Curry with 29 points, Jordan Poole off the bench with 17, Gary Payton II with 7 points. Kevon Looney with 12 points and 7 boards. Draymond Green with 9.7 assists and 5 rebounds. Andrew Wiggins, 11 points and 6 rebounds. So the Warriors, they took care of business at home. They made their adjustments, so we'll see how it goes in Game 3 in Boston. So I'm very intrigued to see how that goes. But I do want to bring up the article about Collin Sexton here. So this was reported from Chris Fedor, who is a Cleveland Cavaliers beat reporter of Cleveland.com. He reported the Pistons and Pacers are perceived as the quote-unquote biggest threats to land the Cleveland Cavaliers guard in Collin Sexton. The Wizards would have to add Sexton via a sign and trade due to their cap situation. So at the beginning of the article, he says the Detroit Pistons, Indiana Pacers, and Washington Wizards are reportedly among the teams expected to pursue Collin Sexton in free agency. So this is a rumor. So they're saying that the Wizards are expected to pursue Collin Sexton. We don't 100% know. It's not saying, it's saying that they're expected to, but we don't know how strong the interest is. I just feel like a lot of rumors are going to come out with the Wizards because Tommy Shepard and Wes Unseld Jr. have said that they're looking for a point guard. They only have one point guard that's under contract, and that is Ish Smith. Saddle's a free agent. Now they're linked to Shane Larkin. I think that interest is real as well, that they're interested in Shane Larkin. That's just a Tommy Shepard type of move. But guys like Malcolm Brogdon, the Wizards have been linked to him numerous times by numerous beat reporters already this offseason. Mike Conley is another name. I want to talk about Mike Conley in the next episode, how he fit with the Washington Wizards. But every point guard out there, John Wall, in the middle of the season, the athletic David Aldridge brought a reunion with John Wall. So every point guard under the sun, Tyus Jones, I feel like the Wizards are going to be linked to, and there's going to be some type of rumored interest. Tommy Shepard said that they're looking at the point guard position to attack it via free agency, via trade, or via the draft. So we'll see who they end up with. But let's deep dive into Collin Sexton real quick. And this report is also from Jake Fischer from Bleacher Report. He says Pistons sources told Bleacher Report are expected to use their cap space to acquire one impact player in the front court and back court, while Jalen Brunson and Sexton are known as guards of real interest to fill that backcourt slot. So in the beginning of the article, he says Indiana, Detroit, and Washington have all been mentioned as early potential landing spots for Collin Sexton. Those are teams that need point guard help. Malcolm Brogdon might be on the way out of the door in Indiana. In Detroit, they're looking for somebody to play next to Cade Cunningham, so they want to be aggressive. So once again, that's how the Wizards are linked to Collin Sexton. So there is some smoke there. The fit is the question to me. So I'll bring up some numbers. We'll talk about some numbers with Collin Sexton here. His raw numbers per Basketball Reference. So young bull is what they call him. Collin Sexton. I remember watching him at Alabama when I want to say his teammates fouled out, and it was basically 4-on-5, and he was still found a way to put up 30 to 40 points. When they had an advantage of one player down, and they were basically doing a box and one on Collin Sexton. That's how legitimate a scorer that Collin Sexton is. He's 6'1", 190 pounds. He just finished his fourth year in his NBA career. He had a torn meniscus. He played in 11 games, so he missed the majority of the season. He averaged before he went down, he averaged 16 points a game, 2 assists per game, and 3 rebounds. Now the year before that is where he had a lot of career highs. He had a career high in points with 24.3 points per game. 1 steal per game. He had a career high in assists per game with 4.4 assists per game, 3 boards per game. He had a career high in turnovers per game. But he is a legitimate 3-level scorer. 3-point percentage, 37% from the 3-point line in 2021, 38% from the 3-point line in 2020. And then his rookie year, he shot 40% from the 3-point line. Each year, he shot at least 3 threes per game. In 2021, he shot 4 threes per game. So there is a good amount of volume of threes and 47% from the field. So he is the numbers wise, percentage wise, he's a very efficient scorer. Now I'm going to talk about the fit and the question marks, how he would fit on the Wizards, and things that we saw last year with bringing in a guy like Spencer Dinwiddie. How does that correlate with bringing in a guy like Collin Sexton? Should that bring in PTSD with the kind of player that Collin Sexton is? But before we do get to that, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is super easy to use. You pick 2 to 5 players and then over/under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times on any entry. And it's just you versus the projected numbers. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Prize Picks is safe and offers fast withdrawals. Use the award-winning app on both the App Store and Google Play. Prize Picks offers any prop you can think of, from points scored to rebounds or even steals. Prize Picks allows mixed sports entries. For instance, you can take the over on Jordan Poole's points in Game 3 or take the under on Jaylen Brown's points in Game 3 in the same entry. And Prize Picks doesn't just offer NBA. They have options on college basketball, college football, NFL, MLB, soccer, MMA, and more. For a limited time, Prize Picks has an exclusive no-brainer of an offer for all of our users. Users get $50 for free if a player in your first Prize Picks entry scores a single point. But you must use code in all caps NBA. You have to put in code NBA. That's right. This is an exclusive offer available to Locked On fans. Sign up today and use code NBA, $50 for free if a player in your first Prize Picks entry scores a single point. So I want you guys to check out this listener survey. So we have an important favor to ask you. We put together a survey so we can learn more about listeners like you and make your favorite Locked On podcasts even better. This is your opportunity to tell us what you like and don't like about Locked On Podcasts. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey right now to get it started. It won't take very long, and everyone that completes a survey can qualify for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Ticketmaster gift cards. To take our audience survey, go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey. Thanks for your help. So Collin Sexton is a legitimate 3-level scorer. Unfortunately, we heard rumors, through his rookie year and even the 2021 season, and before that, him and Kevin Love not getting along, or teammates saying that he does not pass the ball at all. J.R. Smith had quotes about Collin Sexton not passing the ball as well, and you can see some of the body language of his teammates when Collin Sexton would dribble the air out of the ball and not pass. So that's the concern with him. Now, 2021, he had 4.4 assists per game, so he's showing that he's trending to pass the ball more. And he's had some explosive games. He had 40 points against the Nets, against Kyrie and KD and James Harden. I remember that game where he just couldn't be stopped. There's been some games where he just has been an unstoppable scorer, where he can get to the basket and get to his spots and score. But can he be a facilitator? Tommy Shepard said he wants a pass first point guard. Wes Unseld Jr. has said the same thing. The best fit next to Bradley Beal is a pass first point guard. We don't really want a guy who is, is my turn, your turn, high usage guy next to Bradley Beal that's looking to score and not facilitate. Now, on the other hand, I think Collin Sexton would be solid off ball because he can knock down the three and he can shoot the three. If Bradley Beal gets downhill and finds Collin Sexton for an open three, he's capable of knocking it down. He's shot, 37% for the most part of his career from the 3-point line. Now, the PTSD is Collin Sexton really a point guard? He's 6'1", so does he check the box of being a bigger guard, which Bradley Beal said that's what he's looking for, a bigger guard. He's 6'1", so he doesn't check that box, but he plays bigger than what his size is. They call him Young Bull for a reason. We remember him slapping the floor and playing intense defense when he first got into the league. But he's 6'1", 190 pounds. He can shoot the three and score at all levels. But is he better being a combo guard? Is he better just off being a scoring guard? The question mark for him is he better being a six-man scorer? And why the Cavaliers, of course they got Evan Mobley, but when Darius Garland had the keys, they had Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Were they a better team when Collin Sexton was not there? Does all the scoring contribute to wins? That's the question mark on Collin Sexton. Now, bringing in talent, I feel like the Wizards definitely do need an influx of talent and do need to raise the talent bar. So Collin Sexton certainly would raise the talent bar. He's super talented and is a very talented scorer. But like I said before, the question marks are defense, fit next to Bradley Beal. Can he facilitate an offense? Would he fit next to Porzingis and Brad, what they're trying to do? It looks like Wes really wants an offense where it's ran through the big man. Porzingis, kind of like Jokic. They're not similar players, but they both can step out and knock down a three and shoot a jumper, and they both can score from the post. And Porzingis did a solid job facilitating. They really, towards the end of the year, Wes Unseld Jr. ran the offense to the high post through Kristaps Porzingis. He would get at the high post, and either he would find a cutter or open shooters. Most of the time, Porzingis would shoot the mid-range shot or score from the post, but that's the kind of offense they want to run, and Bradley Beal would be the Jamal Murray type of player where they feed off of each other, a lot of pick and rolls, a lot of pick and pops. And the point guard is a guy who's just more of a facilitator. They're not looking for the point guard to come in and put up 25 to 30 points, which is what Collin Sexton's calling card is. So, but I do want to bring up some numbers here. Collin Sexton had a high usage rate of 29.7%. Bradley Beal usually has a high usage rate as well. And shout out to Kuka Hill from the Locked On Pistons. He brought up some of these numbers as well. Now, Collin Sexton had 528 possessions of being a pick and roll ball handler. That shows that he handles the ball obviously a lot as a point guard. He was in the 83rd percentile as a spot up shooter, so that bodes well for him. He was 89th in the percentile in 1.3 points per possessions as a catch and shooter, 130, and he had 136 possessions as a catch and shooter offensively. He had 339 possessions as a shooter off the dribble. So that shows a lot of his shots and three-pointers come off the dribble where he's dominating the basketball. There were 71 possessions where he cut to the basket, so that's not good. I feel like the Wizards, they want somebody who can move without the basketball. Bradley Beal, he needs a guy that can move without the basketball next to him that can score. Sato did a good job last year moving without the basketball and facilitating the ball. Now, last year too, so the question marks I have as well is what do you have to give up to bring in a guy like Collin Sexton? This was reported from Chris Fedor as well that Collin Sexton is looking for about $18 to $22 million per year. This was similar to what we gave Spencer Dinwiddie last year, about a 3-year, $18 million per year type of deal. So, and the Cavaliers have reportedly that they do want to bring Collin Sexton back. There were reports last year from Shams and Woj that Collin Sexton was very available last year. He was very available. And once again, it's looking like Collin Sexton is very available as a restricted free agent. Where are the Cavaliers going to match his offer? Are they willing to give him? They're reportedly willing to give him $18 million. But if it's anything above that, then they'll just let a team have him. And then most likely it would have to be a sign and trade for the Washington Wizards. Chris Fedor reportedly said they believe that nobody will pay above $20 million for Collin Sexton. So I don't know if you want to 100% believe that. Jalen Brunson, his market has risen up. He's going to get to about $18 to $22 million per year. So there will be a team that is going to throw I feel like there's going to be a team that will throw possibly above 20 million, maybe around 19, 20 to $21 million for Collin Sexton. So I'm going to give you guys what I think about his fit next to Bill and would this help the Wizards. But before we do get to that, this episode is brought to you by Built Bar. Don't you love a chewy chocolatey brownie? What about a caramel brownie with caramel swirled on top? It's so good. What if I told you that you can have all that chewy chocolatey deliciousness plus 17 grams of protein? Then you're in luck because caramel brownie bars are available at built.com right now. And you got to act fast because they are a fan favorite. Forget about dessert. These are better than dessert. Plus, the macros are unreal: 130 calories, 17 grams of protein, and only 4 grams of sugar. I would replace a regular brownie with Built caramel brownie bar in a heartbeat. And all the Built bars are made with collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides a ton of healthy benefits. There are a million reasons that you should try Built bars, but for now, let's just say that caramel brownie will rock your world. That's not an understatement. With Built, tasty is the new healthy. Go to built.com to get your box of caramel brownie bars now. Go to built.com, use promo code LOCK15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at built.com. All right, so I still have PTSD with Spencer Dinwiddie, how he fit next to Bradley Beal, so I don't think the fit would work, but talent does trump all at times. I remember last year the Wizards were reportedly interested in DeMar DeRozan. Everybody talked about how he could not shoot, but you look at how DeMar DeRozan played with the Bulls. He had an incredible year. Maybe Collin Sexton could buy in defensively under Wes Unseld Jr., since Wes Unseld Jr. is a defensive-minded head coach, and he can facilitate the ball better, possibly in this offense was Wes Unseld Jr. Now, the signs that bode well for me is that Collin Sexton had a 10% uptick in assist percentage from his 2020 season to his 2021 season. He had a 22.5% assist percentage in 2021, and he had a 12% assist percentage in the 2020 season. So it shows that he's getting better facilitating the ball. He's learning that he has to buy in and trust and use his teammates. I love the free throw attempts per game. It shows that he can put pressure on the defense. He knows how to draw fouls. You look at his free throw attempts per game. He's a legitimate free throw shooter, shot 80% from the free throw line each year, 83% from the free throw line his rookie year, 84% his sophomore year, and 81% from the free throw line his third year. And he shot 6.4 free throws per game and made 5 out of 6 free throws per game in 2021. So he is a legitimate scorer. He knows how to get downhill. He knows how to finish through contact and play through physicality. And I love that about him. Him and Bradley Beal both getting downhill and get to the free throw line a lot is going to put a lot of pressure on defenses, getting to the bonus quicker and easier and fouling guys out. I like that a lot. That is the upside of Collin Sexton. And 24 points per game is nothing to stick your nose up at, but scoring isn't the end-all be-all. I do feel like the Wizards, they played better with a facilitator at the point guard position, getting the ball to Porzingis, getting the ball to Bradley Beal. But the talent level would be raised with the Collin Sexton. And how much would you have to give up to bring in a Collin Sexton in a trade? Now, the reported trade proposal from the Knicks last year, who were heavily interested in trading for Collin Sexton. This was reported from Shams last year. The Knicks tried to give the Cavs Obi Toppin, Kevin Knox, and a first-round pick for Collin Sexton. Now, that to me does not sound like a lot. You know, on this roster, I would hate to part with Kuzma. I wouldn't really like to part with Denny or Rui, to be honest. But if you're bringing in talent and a star, then I'm all fine with getting the team better. So KCP, is he a trade asset? Who would you have to give up to bring in a Collin Sexton and match that salary of $18 million, which is it's not a crazy amount of money. So, KCP is making $13.5 million this upcoming season. Kyle Kuz is making $13.5 million. I would like to keep Kuz, of course, because he had a great season. But, at what cost do the Wizards want to bring in a point guard to make this team better? So what assets are you going to give up to bring in a Collin Sexton? And does he move the needle for the Wizards to be a playoff team? So is there any smoke to these rumors? Like I said, a lot of the articles sound like they're just naming the Wizards as potential suitors because they need a point guard. And is it worth it to trade your young assets like a Denny Rui or a Kispert to bring in a Collin Sexton to be a, 6th seed or 7th seed or a play-in team? So those are the question marks right there. Does he fit with Bradley Beal? Can he play well defensively as well? So there's some numbers that I found about his defense as well. He hasn't been the best defender. This is per 538. He was a negative 2.9. He had a negative 2.9 defensive Raptor per 538. So that's not good. That's below league average as a defender. So he's not a good defender. But like I said, can he be coached up by Wes Unseld Jr. and buy in defensively, be a better. The efforts there, the athleticism is there, the foot speed is there, the dog. They call him Young Bull for a reason, and I think he's gotten better since the rift with his teammates in Cleveland came out. Per the Athletic, there were times where opposing players would tell the Cavaliers players that Collin Sexton, they would laugh and say that Collin Sexton is not going to pass you the ball. So that was the report coming from the Athletic. So, but yeah, this is the offseason, a lot of rumors, and the Wizards are going to be tied to a lot of point guards. So I do quickly want to go over the ultimate mock draft here before we wrap up, and a couple of guys at the Washington Wizards did work out today. So I'm going to go over the picks here real quick. These are from all the Locked On NBA hosts. We are doing it. We did a mock draft. We're going to do a couple of mock drafts before the draft on June 23rd. So with the first pick of the Locked On Ultimate Mock Draft, the Magic select Jabari Smith out of Auburn. The Thunder selected Chet Holmgren out of Gonzaga. The third pick, the Rockets took Paolo Banchero, a.k.a. Pat Mahomes from Duke. The Pacers traded with the Kings. They had pick 6. They traded up to pick 4 with the Kings, and they took Jaden Ivey out of Purdue. The Pistons took Shaedon Sharpe at pick 5. The Kings took Keegan Murray at pick 6. The Blazers took Benedict Mathurin, the Wizards fans' favorite player in the draft, at 7. The Pelicans took Jeremy Sohan out of Baylor at 8. At 9, the Spurs took Jalen Duren. And then the ESPN draft music, you can cue it here. The Wizards, I took AJ Griffin out of Duke at pick 10. AJ Griffin, he's just an elite shooter, man. He's an elite shooter. You bring up some of his shooting numbers and his shooting splits here. He's 6'6", 222 pounds. He was a projected top 5 pick. So if there's rumors of him dropping because of the medical, they're waiting for the medical records. You know, he had some injuries in high school. To what extent are those injuries and how concerning are they? You know, GM's got to look into that. But he averaged 10 points per game at Duke as a freshman, 1 assist per game, 4 rebounds, 79% from the free throw line, 44% from the 3, which is elite 3-point shooting. 54% from the 2 on 2-point field goals, which is elite as well. Almost had a 50-40-90 season. Shot 80% from the free throw line. He shot 45% on jump shots. This is percent synergy. 45.7% on catch and shoot jumpers. 51% on unguarded shots, and 45% on on jump shots off the dribble. So he's just an elite shooter. And I just could see AJ Griffin being posted up in the corner, being a catch and shoot guy or a 3-and-D wing. And I feel like he's more capable of creating a shot for himself too, because he played with Paolo. He played with Trevor Kills, who gets the ball a lot and scores a lot. He played with Wendell Moore, who scores a lot. He played with Mark Williams, who scores a lot. So he played with 4 of the guys that get the ball a lot and can score a lot. There's 4 or 5 guys from Duke are getting drafted in the first round. Wendell Moore is a first-round pick. Paolo's a top 10 pick. AJ Griffin himself is a top 10 pick, top 5 pick. Mark Williams is a top 20 pick. So he played with a lot of good players. Trevor Kills is a second-round pick or is going to go back next year and be a lottery pick. So he played with a lot of good guys that needed to get their shots. They had to share the wealth. So he wasn't able to really showcase a lot of his bag, in my opinion, the way he can put the ball on the floor and score other than just being a shooter. But I think at pick 10 would be a steal for the Wizards. He was supposed to be a top 5 pick, or he is a projected top 8, top 6 pick, in my opinion. There were times where scouts liked AJ Griffin more than Paolo, but Paolo played really well down that stretch. I like Paolo a lot. I think he's obviously a top 4, top 3 pick in the draft. I think he's a top 4 player in the draft, no question, for sure. But AJ Griffin had a really good year, and you know, for the usage and for the shots that had to go around, everybody had to share the wealth on that Duke team. I thought he played really, really well. So I think he would be a steal at pick 10. Like I said before, Tari Eason is a guy that worked out for the Wizards today. James Akinjo from Baylor worked out for the Wizards today. He went to Georgetown, then he transferred to Arizona, and then he transferred to Baylor. And he can shoot the 3. He's a great 3-level scorer. Damian Lillard loves him. He's from Oakland. Damian Lillard has promoted James Akinjo many times on social media. James Akinjo, pound for pound for me, was the best offensive player on that Baylor team. Jeremy Sohan is more of a defensive-minded guy. Kendall Brown is an athlete and more of a defensive-minded guy. Flagler, the other point guard or the other guard, I thought he was really good offensively too. But James Akinjo, he could be a steal. He could be an undrafted guy that could really come in and play well. He can finish through contact, finish through physicality. Is an elite ball handler, and he plays with a chip on the shoulder. I want to say he was Big Ten Freshman of the Year at Georgetown. I loved him at Georgetown. I'm a Georgetown fan as well, and I hated to see him leave. So he's going to be he could be a draft steal, in my opinion, or a diamond in the rough, as the Wizards say. Ryan Allen from Delaware, I had to do my research on him. Gabe Brown from Michigan State, I have to do my research on him. RJ Cole from Connecticut, I have to do my research on him. Tari Eason is the big name. He's a projected top 15 pick in the draft out of LSU. And Scottie Pippen Jr., the son of Scottie Pippen, obviously, the 6-time NBA champion Scottie Pippen, Hall of Famer, top 75 player Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen from Vanderbilt, him too, he could be a steal as well. He's a scrappy guard that can score at all 3 levels too. So there's some, he's projected to be undrafted. So if the Wizards can get him on a summer league team, either of these guards, I'm telling you guys, due to this guys being able to come back to college for a 5th year, and there's 2 picks that were forfeited from teams, there's going to be some spillage. Some teams some guys that did not get drafted, they're going to be really, really good. And I really do feel like the Wizards can find a Gabe Vincent or a Max Strus or, Omer Yurt-7, one of those. They can find a diamond in the rough undrafted guy that's going to be really, really good. They just got to do their research and make the right pick for sure. But there's going to be a lot of good guys that are not undrafted is what I'm getting to. But Tari Eason, like him a lot at LSU. He worked out. He was the big name in the workout today. He's a 3-level scorer as well. He can really defend. He can get down. He plays with a lot of physicality. Wanted to bring up some numbers for Tari Eason to give you guys some context. He had some of the best. He was in the 99th percentile in transition scoring, 89th percentile overall efficiency, and 81st percentile in rim efficiency. This is per the shot quality big board, NBA shot quality big board for the NBA draft. Only thing that he needs to really work on is left hand, finishing with his left hand and dribbling with his left hand. But he is a legitimate scorer. And he plays through a lot of physicality. He's a big man that plays like a guard. He was basically a 6-man for LSU. He can play the 3, the 4, and the 5. He can guard 3 through 5, really 2 through 5. I feel like he has long arms, has a 7'2" wingspan, about 6'8". He transferred as well. I want to say he went to Cincinnati, then he transferred. But he shot 36% from the 3-point line. Only shot 3 threes. Does need to work on the jumper. He puts the ball to his right and then shoots the 3. So his form just needs a little bit of work. But he plays with a chip on his shoulder. He plays like a dog with a lot of physicality and that dog mentality for sure. So I like Tari Eason a lot. He dribbles like a guard and he does a lot of crossovers in and outs in between the legs type moves. And he can really finish strong and dunk off of a standing jump. So he's a very intriguing prospect. Maybe if you trade back with the Hornets, maybe you get a Tari Eason, but getting him at pick 10, I wouldn't mind it. But there's a log jam at that forward spot. So if you get him, are you going to keep Rui and Denny and Kispert and all these guys together if you bring in a Tari Eason? So just want to thank you guys for listening and making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On NBA. From the first jump ball of the play-in tournament to the last possession of the NBA Finals, Locked On experts take you deep inside with the playoffs with insight and analysis affecting all 30 teams. Make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube and hit the notification bell